Olha, este gajo é fixe. Curtes este gajo?
Dino Crisis 1 was a tense, atmospheric panic horror. A dimly lit island base with no one around. You only fought when you had no choice because ammo was limited. 2 or more enemies was a major problem. You sometimes solved puzzles to avoid fighting, and until you escaped, you were always being hunted. So Dino Crisis 2 is just more of the same, right?
Oh my
Nunca joguei este jogo, sadly.
god, absolutely not. Dino Crisis 1 was a slow burn horror. This is a firework of explosions and action. There is a gun which fires
É isso, parece a relação entre o Alien e o Aliens.
lightning, a triple shot heat-seeking missile launcher, arcade style light gun sections. There's even a bit where you call in an artillery strike on a dinosaur while you're standing next to it. If Dino Crisis 2 is a survival game, it's because the dinosaurs are trying to survive you.
Dino Crisis 2 is as far from Dino Crisis 1 as you could possibly get. And thanks to this video's sponsor,
Obrigado, Sr. Strife.
both of those games are now available on PC in a remastered bundle pack.
Jogog?
Check the video description if you want to go and buy them. Now, as a kid, I had
Uau! Viste? Publicidade curta. Ao GOG, porque, não é? Quem gostar de jogos vai perceber que GOG é das melhores coisas que podes ter, não é?
Dino Crisis
bem.
1, but never 2. I remember seeing adverts for 2,
Nice.
seeing screenshots of a rocket launcher or bigger dinosaurs and thinking, oh man, this must be terrifying. So this was genuinely my first playthrough of the game, and I went into this expecting more of the same. Basically, Resident Evil 1 to 2 I thought would be Dino Crisis 1 to 2. And as much as I like Dino Crisis 1, when I realised what 2 was trying to be, I ended up grinning from ear to ear the whole time. I really enjoyed this game. So grab your electrified baton, man the anti-dinosaur hovercraft cannon, and prepare to time travel all over again as we ask the
Nice.
simple question, Dino Crisis 2, was it actually any good? As usual, a massive thank you to all the supporters on Patreon who make these videos
Caraças.
possible. Launch the game, the
Olha, este gajo é
program
muito popular, pelo menos entre... Já viste a quantidade de pessoas?
runs fine, it's stable, the keys are easy to remap, and the game runs in windowed mode no problem at all. Software-wise, this works. So let's kick off with an extreme voiceover.
1 year has passed since the third energy incident. Dr. Kirk's research on third energy has been taken over by a government agency, and massive research has begun at a base somewhere in the Midwest. However, in their pursuit of immediate results, they have failed to take the necessary precautions, and once again, an accident has occurred. This time, the entire research base, military institution, and a small town close by have disappeared. In their place, there now lies a jungle from another time.
The plot of Dino Crisis 2 is basically irrelevant. There is no amount of context which would make this game better or worse, but basically, remember the third energy in the first game and how it could create a vortex which brought the past into our present? Well, here we have an entire research facility teleporting dinosaurs from the past to the present to capture and study them. However, something has gone wrong,
Okay.
and the time vortex they were using has swallowed the entire research facility and the surrounding town and thrown them all into the past. So now we are sending a commando squad into the past to rescue it, using a special hovercraft equipped with a third energy time travel engine. Look, don't think
Peço desculpa, mas isto está a ser super interessante. Não tenho nada a dizer. Eu nunca tinha visto reviews deste gajo. Vi este gajo a falar sobre, sei lá, autoconfiança uma vez, que alguém partilhou o vídeo. Mas o review de um jogo nunca tinha visto.
about it too much.
Go
Just,
for
it
that.
doesn't need to make sense. The opening
Acho que este gajo é
cutscene shows the
mais,
T-Rex is back, but this time we've got missile launchers.
Acho que este gajo é mais D&D stuff. Quer dizer, é geral, não é? Mas jogos antigos e D&D, adjacent games. Acho que é isso que ele gosta.
So it's not much of a threat, and we blind it. Game starts, and we are back to pre-rendered backgrounds like Resident Evil 1 and 2. None of that 3D engine nonsense the first game did. This means the backgrounds are way more detailed and visually interesting. We've also got voice acting, but again, no subtitles.
The ivy is wrapped around the door, won't open. Let's try the door over there.
Oh, come on. Didn't they teach you how to open a door at SWORD training? Here, I'll show you. Watch this.
Our team is 3 people. Regina, from the first game, joined by new guys Dylan and David. You'll swap control of Regina and Dylan at certain points. David only exists to get into trouble and further the plot. There are some mechanical differences between Regina and Dylan we'll see soon. We start as Dylan. Pressing select opens the map. We can see our location and facing on an area-specific minimap with all the local doors, vendors, and then an overworld map showing all the connections. The world isn't big, but it is dense and navigating it is easy. Tank controls as before. We search this guy and grab a med pack for later, and you press square to slash your melee weapon. Melee is completely viable. Dylan has a machete, but it's not just for combat. If you see a gate covered in ivy, Dylan can hack the ivy away. For firepower, hold R1 to ready your shotgun. You can still run while aiming. Health is shown to the top right, and only a minute in, we're attacked by 3 dinosaurs. Now you'll notice we have 100 shotgun ammo, and combat plays a tad differently here. Bullets can pierce enemies, you run fast, shoot fast, and
Calma. 100 guns a-blazing? Let's go.
they die fast. You also get points per kill like Devil May Cry, with bonuses for varying attacks between melee and range and scoring combos. You can
Devil May
climb this
Cry
ladder
mentioned.
fast to get away, enemies will jump up after you, turn around, shoot down, and then you realize Dino Crisis 2 is a fast-paced run-and-gun action game. So let's do this. The inventory screen is mapped to L3 by default. I find a support file and learn that killing enemies gets you extinction points, and you use these points at shop terminals to buy stupidly powerful sci-fi weapons and ammo. So the more combat you do, the better stuff you get. The mixing system has also been completely removed. You'll be using med packs way more, but they're also more common. Now, because you get bonus points for combos, you're essentially
Olha, eu tal como o meu gajo, eu também achava que o Dino Crisis 2 era Resident Evil. Mas...
encouraged to run in all guns blazing and make it from pack to pack. And there's a bonus for not taking any damage. So every section is essentially a small corridor, and after each one you'll see a little recap of your score for that specific bit. But it's not just dinosaurs on this island. We also spot a mysterious ninja.
Hey! Who are you?
Olha, uma parte não tem nada a ver. Está um cão a uivar aqui no prédio e está-me a fazer impressão. Estou-me a sentir triste. Epá, mesmo alto.
Are you one of the survivors?
O cara estava sentado no sofá com a Zelda, ela até ficou tipo, a olhar para cima e eu, bro,
Come
what?
out! We came here to rescue you!
I find an in-game folder called a Dino file. These give hints on enemies, and the hint for the basic raptor is never run away.
Será um newly acquired puppy? Por falar em newly acquired puppy, isto vem do nada. Mas no domingo, quando fui à igreja e estava fechada, porque, óbvio que estava porque era para aí 2 da tarde, my bad, presenciei um momento único. Estava alguém a entregar um puppy a outro alguém. E eu passei por esse momento. Já viram? O senhor olhou para o puppy, avaliou o puppy, meteu-se no carro e foi-se embora. Depois o casal que estava a oferecer o puppy meteu-se no carro e foram-se embora também, não é? Esperaram que a igreja fechasse para fazerem isto, não é? Espertos. Parecia contente, parecia. A maneira como ele estava a avaliar, parecia-me que era tipo, se isto não der, deito já o caixote de lixo aqui ao lado. Parecia, mas ele parecia contente. Parecia contente.
We are running and gunning, baby. In this room we find our first save point, unlimited saves, and our first shop. New weapons, upgraded armor, or increased maximum ammo for a weapon you already have. Buying the increased maximum ammo also refills your ammo, so it's more efficient than buying refills alone. Explore more, then run through this rather nice looking farmland with lovely views into the distance, and within 5 minutes I've killed more dinosaurs than the entirety of Dino Crisis 1 even had. Some locations like here seem to be unlimited spawn points. You can press L1 to switch targets and essentially farm points, provided you're not spending more on...
Tenho uma questão para fazer sobre o Dino Crisis 2. Portanto, isto é um monte de dinossauros, matas os dinossauros todos, run and gun, parece que estás no contra e não sei o quê. E eu pergunto-me, quem é que... eu não sei para quem é que isto é. Quem é que quer matar dinossauros a torto e a direito? Pessoas que têm medo de dinossauros não vão comprar o Dino Crisis 2 porque tem dinossauros. Pessoas que gostam de dinossauros se calhar vão comprar este jogo enganados. De género. Espero que isto não seja matar 1 trilhão de dinossauros por segundo. Mas sou eu a supor, ok? Se calhar não tem nada a ver. Há pessoas para tudo, não é?
Ammunition than you are earning. Reach the facility and we meet the one-eyed T-Rex, the one we shot with the RPG from earlier. It's back for revenge. So we've got a personal grudge boss, a nemesis. If you will. You can't kill the T-Rex yet, so just run. And I love how it's the T-Rex that smashes the scenery up, which opens the escape route of this
Nemesis
fight.
é do Resident
Similar
Evil
to the
3.
first boss crashing into the building in Future Cop LAPD, I really like when enemies and scenery interact and it's beneficial for the player. But as we run, more ninjas shoot some more explosive
Ninjas?
discs
Oi, acabei de parar o vídeo com o
at us.
comando.
So we dodge into a
Whoa.
building, find some more files on the T-Rex and a note explaining the 10th
Quantos
anniversary.
dinossauros?
of the
Depende do
third
jogo, não é? No
energy
Dino Crisis
experiment
2 parece
failure.
que consegues
So
matar
this
mesmo
facility
muitos.
has been here in the past for 10 years. Occasionally you'll turn a corner and see some cockroaches or insects scurry away. This is just a nice flourish to add some visual movement to the scene. And here's a lovely touch. Every time you use an item from your
Este jogo dá significado novo a DPS, não é? Dinosaurs per second.
inventory, the inventory reassesses itself to
That's funny.
consolidate down and take up as little space as possible. I get attacked by a raptor and start bleeding. Your health bar turns red when you are bleeding, and you'll constantly lose health until you stop the bleeding using a healing item. Bleeding is more dangerous than just taking direct damage because you'll lose more health over the long term from this status. Eventually I find a locked door, but it's electronically locked. Remember this, it will be important later. We find some more memos on the state of the citizens and the soldiers of the local town. We use a key to open a safe, but then the room we are in locks itself. Dylan is trapped. Time to play as Regina. Both characters play in the same area through the same sections, but the interactions and routes are very slightly different. Regina starts with a pistol. This will quickly be outclassed, but unlike the first game, is actually a decent weapon. But the mechanical change is Regina has a stun baton melee weapon. Good in close combat, but the mechanical difference is while Dylan can hack Ivy away from gates with a machete, Regina can short-circuit electronic locks, so a route unavailable to one is available to the other. Has to be said as well here, the music is an absolute banger.
Ow!
Cross this bridge, see enemies below us, then enemies above us, and the camera
That's cool.
angles and use of depth to enhance the feeling of being totally trapped in this deadly world is just terrific. I get attacked by these flying swarms of mosquitoes, try to shoot them but no use, you have to melee them instead. Remember Dino Crisis 1 had no real mechanical variation.
Isto não é
for enemy
basicamente o
behaviors.
Doom Guy
Here,
neste
we've
jogo?
already got enemies that you need to melee attack. I then get attacked quite a lot and taken to 0 health, but there's a final chance mechanic. The hit which takes you to 0 doesn't kill you. You only die if you take damage while on 0 health. So you have a final chance to panic heal. We explore the jungle a bit.
Really?
Welcome to the poison swamp bit. Touching the poison will kill you, so don't do that. Go to climb up, get attacked, and decide to run away. Need a slightly bigger gun for this fight. Neat touch with movement. If you run towards some enemies, they will jump at you. But if you keep running, you can dodge underneath them. So running away is worse than running in. Everything is designed to encourage you to stay in the action. Inside a building, we find a file about poisonous plants. It says, use a flamethrower.
Isto é o
we
Doom
check the demo
2016,
shop
antes
and
do
wouldn't you
Doom
know it,
2016.
they're selling a flamethrower.
Dino Crisis 2 has a selection of weapons and they're all brutal. Just be aware you can have a one-handed main weapon and a one-handed melee weapon.
By the way, olha o setup do gajo. O gajo está com o microfone numa caneca. Sim, senhor.
Equipped at the same time. The shotgun counts as a one-handed weapon, but if you equip a two-handed weapon like the flamethrower, you lose your melee attack. You can, however, open the menu at any time, even in combat, and change back to get your melee attack back. Dylan and Regina don't share all weapons. Some purchases on one aren't available on the other. For example, Dylan gets the solid-state cannon, which creates a ball of localized electrical lightning, and Regina gets the missile pod, which fires 3 homing smaller missiles. Dylan gets the single-shot rocket launcher, Regina gets the submachine guns. Weapons with a
Green screen?
practical use, however, like the
Não. Para que green screen quando tenho isto? Espera aí, vou-te mostrar. Será que isto vai funcionar? Olha só que épico. Vês? Pôr o microfone num vaso em vez de uma caneca. Ah. Me oh my. O que é que achas? Isto é épico, não é? Ok, voltei ao normal.
Flamethrower destroying the poison plants, allowing for navigation, are available to both.
Falta de
Armed with
profissionalismo.
the new
Porquê?
power of long-range flame, we head back to the plants, but bump into a strange ninja. Get into a little.
Mas este filtro é incrível, pá. É por isso que eu uso. A toda hora. Olha, como é que é? Sabes o que é que eu quero? Quero jogar Sport. Continua a ver o teu prato da comida. Sure. Espera aí, deixa-me só afastá-lo então.
Saving them from death, and then we interrogate them.
Olha, vem para o microfone aqui dentro, não é?
Grab my hand.
Ainda está na câmara? E que cena. Peraí. Já escondi.
Who are...
Eu não estou a olhar para a câmera. Sou uma sexo.
Listen, young lady. I don't want to do this to you, but you've left me no other choice.
Yeah, let's leave the enemy handcuffed to a pipe in a random office. Sure, nothing bad will happen. The flamethrower, like every video game flamethrower ever, eats ammunition but is incredibly powerful. It can even toast the armored Orlosaur outside. See? Backtracking and mechanical progression against resistant enemies based on unlocking new power. Dino Crisis 2 may look like dumb, stupid fun, but there's actually a lot of really competent design philosophies hiding under the surface. Now we can burn the poison plants.
It's not just dumb, stupid fun. It's epic, dumb, stupid.
To
Okay,
make
whatever.
it deeper into the jungle, but we do find another note that says to reach the missile silo, we will need a gas.
É que é bora ao GOG comprar isto?
Have to say the
Vocês primeiro.
backgrounds and poison plants just look gorgeous.
Vocês primeiro e depois passam-me o jogo, não é? Por e-mail assim.
Together,
Não façam isso.
beautiful mix of colors combined with the orange of the flamethrower, it just really works. Reach the same farmland from earlier. Enjoy the herbivores in the distance, just grazing, reinforcing that the dinosaurs can be peaceful. We are the ones running around with guns here. They were just chilling. Finally reach the facility, take some key cards and
Yeah.
run through the
Really
rooms,
makes you
blasting
think.
out to stun the small raptors, and finally reach and rescue Dylan.
Hey, what took you so long?
Nice to see you, too. You owe me one. I found a young female survivor,
Huh.
but she was uncooperative. I locked her up in the control shack. I'll take her back to the ship. You go on ahead. I'll meet you there. Just try to relax. What is wrong with you? You're a survivor, right? Please, we're here to help.
We're the
What's
bad
your
guys
name?
all along.
Where are all the others?
Eu não acho que o Druck tem
Where's
essa
your
mensagem.
Regina, you better come and see this.
Who trashed the place?
Mas é só porque o Druck não tem mensagem nenhuma, não é?
It wasn't dinosaurs. Someone
Tô
must have gone
brincar.
in here and destroyed all the computers.
The activator for the gate is broken too. We can't get back to our own time.
It must have been those people with the helmets.
They also damaged the engine activator. We can't even move our ship.
Okay, we'll have
A mensagem foi: deixa-me pagar ao Jeff para me dar prémios.
to look for something in this world in order to get us back to our original time. And we have to find parts for the ship, too.
Hey, before you go, handcuff the girl so she won't run away. There's a facility we haven't gone to yet. You gotta check it out.
Right.
É. Isto é meu review ou o meu resumo
With this, we
do
return
jogo
to our
inteiro?
special military hovercraft, but oh no! Our special magical time travel vortex third energy engine has been destroyed. We are now trapped in the past, unless we can fix it. What a crisis. With dinosaurs. 2. We explore around the boat and see
Yo!
our ship.
Haver momentos em que estás preso no passado Isso parece-me engraçado.
Is quite the assault vessel, which is good because we'll be doing quite some assaulting quite soon. The world map is also flashing red on a certain section. This is probably important, so I journey on over. More battles with more Orlosaurs, and these guys have more tactics than I realized. They are only vulnerable when attacked from the side. So you need to bait them into a charge, then dodge around, or run at them and around them, flaming as you go. Enemy variety, that's impressive. So I can't quite reach the red on the map yet, but some boxes from earlier have moved, opening a new route. So we run and gun our way past more dinos, and I've just realized you don't need to reload any weapon. Just run and gun. No wasted time. We spot our old nemesis, one-eyed T-Rex in the distance, and then reach the water tower. We got here
Achas que é self-help game também?
earlier with Regina, but now Dylan can clear a route with his machete, crisscrossing critical paths with different unlocks. I like it. I buy a new weapon, the solid.
Falar em self-help, estava a ver aquele scroll daquelas notícias no telemóvel. Sabem? É, isto não está a aparecer nada. E apareceu. E apareceu uma notícia a dizer assim: olha, se gostas do Jordan Peterson, ele vai a Portugal. Vem a Portugal. Já viram?
State cannon. Ammo is more expensive, so I'll use this.
Já compraste os bilhetes ou
I give it a
Vitor?
try and oh my god, this is a beast. And I learn right now that the solid state cannon, despite being one of the earliest weapons, is the best weapon in the game. It creates an orb of electrical energy which hovers in the air in front of you, shocking everything that comes near it many times a second. Every new shot replaces the previous orb, but you can run up to enemies and effectively shoot the ball lightning inside the enemy model, negating any defense they have. This trivializes most enemies, fries anything from the inside out. You will be using this weapon until endgame. While climbing a ladder, you are animation locked into the climb, but you are also invulnerable, so it's a sneaky tactic to avoid damage if you time it right. Shoot our way into the facility and meet a new enemy, poison-spitting dinosaurs. 3 of them, in fact, so we're dealing with ranged attacks now as well, and I'm out of good ammo, so I just burn or run past them. Inside, we learn that we may be
Queres mesmo que eu te responda a isso, Vitor?
able to build a new time travel engine by scavenging some parts from the facility, a nearby town, and a missile silo. A note in here also
Já fizeste a
tells us
cama
these
hoje?
small dinosaurs are called compies, and you can lure them into traps using shiny things. We go to leave, and wouldn't you know it, a tiny compy jumps out and steals the keycard that we just got and then runs away. Now this is a puzzle, and for some reason you can't just shoot the guy. Instead, you must open and close the various ventilation shafts around the multiple rooms and chase the compy from room to room.
Peraí, então não é for some reason, é porque o jogo quer mesmo. Ok, whatever.
Leading it all the
Desculpa,
way to the
já estou aqui a
cage at the
discutir com
very
o
end,
homem,
and then
com o
taking your
youtuber.
keycard back. Using
Parece a minha mãe a discutir com o António Costa quando ele aparecia na televisão.
the card, we can get
Estou
deeper into
maluquinho
this
já.
facility and find experiment vats filled with liquid and human-like bodies suspended. What kind of experiments were they doing on this island? We also find a starter battery, which is probably useful for rebuilding the hovercraft engine. So we return, but the prisoner we chained up is no longer here.
Oh Maria, estarás porventura a referir-te a masturbação? Cagaste na cama. Isso quer dizer que precisas de autoajuda?
She's gone.
Yeah, I can see that. You know what else is weird? I've checked the stats on all the residents and soldiers, but I couldn't find any profile fitting her description. It's like she doesn't exist.
Well,
Spooky
I was
song?
thinking, maybe she's not one of the survivors at all. What if those helmet people are from a completely different time than ours?
What?
Never mind. We found parts that might help fix the ship. But what matters now is we still haven't found any survivors or helpful data, so we must move on and search elsewhere.
This control panel is programmed to search for the areas where we can dock. Use it.
Right.
Oh, Maria, vou-te fazer a mesma pergunta hoje que fiz ontem. Mas não é para responderes. Necessariamente. Qual é a pergunta? Esqueci-me. Já sei qual é a pergunta. Pergunto-vos a vocês a todos. Se a vossa identidade fosse decidida por tudo aquilo que fizeram durante o dia de hoje e apagassem todos os outros dias, só o de hoje, qual é que seria a vossa identidade?
We installed the starter battery. We can't travel through time yet, but we can at least move the hovercraft. And now you have 2 locations you can travel to, the military 3rd Energy Research Facility or the civilian Edwards City. Let's go to Edwards City first. But even that isn't simple, because as we set off, seems dinosaurs can now swim, and the pterodactyls are back, and this means it's time for an on-rails shooting section. There are a few times this mechanic
Oh, sempre ficaste preso no trânsito por causa do Pinto da Costa?
will come up. You can see the map, so you know how far you have left to go. You've got sea monsters, pterodactyls, they just keep firing. Watch out for the danger warnings, and just as I'm thinking, this is like an arcade game. Regina says,
Good job, we're here. Sharp shooter, aren't you? Hang around the arcades much?
so Dino Crisis 2 is fully self-aware. Finish the gunning
Fourth
section
wall?
and reach Edwards City. The shop has some new stuff now. An
Isto é mais
instant that can
3.5
prevent
wall,
bleeding,
não é?
an upgraded machete, or extending how long the combo meter remains on the
Foste mais cedo para não te lixares. Mas achas que te irias lixar? Espera aí, hoje é segunda-feira. O funeral é que no sábado?
screen for. Unfortunately, Edwards City is locked. You actually need
Serias
to
gym,
travel
bro.
to the 3rd Energy military facility first. Traveling between them now doesn't let you do the arcade shooter mini game again, which is a shame because it was fun. I like what they
Funeral
were
foi
going
hoje?
for with the
Ah,
open
ok.
world thing.
Alright. Do Pinto da Costa, Maria. Olha, eu tenho andado a pensar, fuck man, isto é um problema mental ou não? Eu explico o que é que quero dizer com isso. Eu sinto que se não fizer exercício um bocadinho mais intenso, tem que ser o mínimo. Tem que estar acima de um threshold. O meu threshold é correr durante X tempo, whatever. Se eu estiver abaixo disso, o meu dia é substancialmente pior, mentalmente, do que o que seria se não fizesse. Eu não sei se isto é problemas mentais ou não, mas. Fuck. Claro que podes olhar para o ponto positivo e dizer assim: então tens maneira de ter um dia bom mentalmente, não é? Pois, está bem, mas eu não sei se quero correr todos os dias.
Feel with the hovercraft as the transport hub, the save room,
Mas fico numa baseline melhor, tipo, acima. Tipo, lido com tudo melhor e não sei o quê. Fuck.
and the shop, but you've only got 3 locations.
Não percebo se isto é
The
merda ou
jungle
se é
that you
bom.
start in, then Edward City and the military 3rd Energy Facility,
Condicionamento
and you need to visit
para o
them
teu
in a
corpo.
specific
Ok,
order. So
vais ter que
while
explicar
we
mais.
will be backtracking later, I don't think they really pushed this freeform discovery element as far as it could go. We reach the 3rd Energy Facility, run along some gantryways above some pools of water, and long-necked dinos flail around and attack us. Don't waste too much ammo on these, as they
Se durante um
do
dia da
respawn
semana não
quite
for a
fast, but
gym,
do be
eu
aware
literalmente
they
não
take
consigo
more
dormir.
damage if you
Eu acho que consigo explicar isso. Mas não importa.
shoot them as they lunge at you, so there's even an element of
Basicamente sinto que
timing
tenho algo para
involved
fazer.
here.
Acredito que sintas, sim.
Find a record on a dead guy. It says he dropped his engineering card key back in the jungle spring, and now that section from earlier is flashing on our map, so it's time for some backtracking.
Eu sei que não estou a ligar ao vídeo, mas olha, vou dizer uma coisa. Eu sinto exatamente o mesmo e é quando é em dias especiais em que acontecem coisas totalmente diferentes. Mas o princípio é o mesmo, de certeza. Por exemplo, no outro dia um amigo meu veio visitar e por causa disso não dei a minha caminhada. E no dia a seguir estava todo fucked. Porquê? Porque é na minha caminhada que eu processo o dia e essas coisas todas. E portanto, da mesma maneira é no gym que tu processas o teu dia. De certeza. Estou a adivinhar, mas mais certo é ser isso.
Take the hovercraft back to the jungle, return to the spring, but where would the card key be? Well, notice you can watch this leaf float down the stream. If you follow the leaf, you'll find where the card key was carried off to by the water. That's a lovely way of
Genius!
combining visual design with mechanical hints. We grab the key, head back to the facility,
Provável?
and go inside. We find a docked
Também acho que é
boat with a
provável. Pode não
supply
ser, mas eu acho que é bem
box, but
provável.
it's locked, so I head all the way inside and find a boat box key. Then a record saying Bob the mechanic had a key to Edward City.
Ui,
He
shit
went to
viewers.
check on the underwater section of the reactor and hasn't come back yet, so I know where we are.
Dirias que foi à mesma
But
hora?
while here, I pick up a new weapon. The triple homing rocket launcher. This thing is a beast. Takes down flying enemies super fast, homes in on the tentacles. Sure, it eats through ammo, but we're basically unkillable now. I even find a 3rd Energy mechanic ID card, then use that to
Claro que It's Through Ammo. Tu viste aquilo? Aquilo, não é? Saiu 3 balas e só Uma é que foi para o coisa.
Open the box on the boat and
Sim, o bot.
inside there find the code for the underwater facility, 4521. If you forget this, unlike Dino Crisis 1, Dino Crisis 2 has a complete journal, which records every file and code you have found so you can double check anything at any time. You can farm the tentacles for points using the triple rocket launcher if you like, as each one rewards more than it costs to buy the ammo to kill it. When you're done, head into the underwater lab. You need to restart the reactor, but it's locked down.
Fair
Don't worry,
enough.
Regina is a dab hand at restarting reactors. To reboot this system, you must play whack-a-mole with the lights. Use Regina's stun baton to hit whatever lights up. The timings on this are actually quite tight. But after hitting the generator enough and performing percussive maintenance, it reboots and we get to the diving suit. Activate the elevator, descend into the water, put on the suit. But we are not alone.
Este jogo parece super divertido. Eu sei que nem preciso ver mais do que ele está a dizer. Eu estou a gostar. Ele também está a descrever o jogo todo.
So starts the underwater bit. You move slower. Everything has this gentle
Eu estou
aquatic
satisfeito.
glow.
Obrigado, Josh.
Crocodiles.
Whatever.
Thankfully,
Strife.
we've got a powerful short-range punch which knocks the enemies away and pushes us backwards slightly, and an unlimited ammo long-range spear gun. This is starting to feel like a James Bond film, and I mean one of the good old James Bond films. And the music is just pure old-school cheesy action film, and I am here for it.
Ele tem razão, pretty good.
Quite have the money to purchase the, get ready for this, underwater automatic grenade launcher, but
Claro.
my god, I will buy this the moment I can. You can also jump while underwater, and jumping is needed, such as jumping over this rusted shut gate. You can even shoot while in I was going to say air, but I suppose mid-water, to include a platforming section in an
Hey, mid-jump.
water section using pre-rendered backgrounds is a fascinating gameplay choice, but my god, it just works. There's a broken column here. We need to destroy it, but our weapon doesn't have the firepower, so getting the aqua grenade gun isn't just for combat, it's needed for puzzle progression, which will also ensure that you have it for the following boss. So farm some enemies, grab the new gun, and now we're one-shot killing most things. Blow the column up, ascend the steps.
Alright. Ele já me vendeu o jogo. Um dia na GOG, sei lá, arranja essa merda. O que acham? Eu acho bem. Eu também acho bem. Desculpa, estou a falar com os meus. Como é que se diz? Como é que chamam? Como é que chama quando tu imaginas pessoas que não estão lá? Psicadélico? Não. Psicotrópico? Pode ser, mas não é isso que eu estou a pensar. Esquizofrénico, é isso. É isso que eu queria.